Okay, so good morning, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here today with you. So I'm Izabela Freytag. I'm the project advisor of NextGEOSS project. I'm working for the European Commission in the EASME executive agency, and indeed, I will present you some example about user-driven also approach project in Horizon 2020. So I will share my screen. Okay, I will start with the most popular question nowadays. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So as I told you, I'm I'm here I'm very curious also to listen to the different user of NextGEOSS during this week and to see the NextGEOSS achievement. But my talk will be called from data user and giving you some example of Horizon 2020 project. So the capacity to observe our planet is evolving. The lack of data was the major problem in the past, but nowadays more and more satellite data are available, including the data of the Copernicus program, which are freely accessible, but also other in situ data are accessible. And nowadays the challenge is a little different, even if some data are still missing, the challenge are different. And this is reflected in different for example, yeah, here I put you the Canberra Declaration. So for those who are familiar with NextGEOSS and with GEO, the group on Earth observe an intergovernmental organization who gather more than 100 members, including the European Commission, but also more than 100 participating organizations, and whose main vision is really to realize a future where decision and action for the benefit of humankind are informed by coordinating, comprehensive, and sustained Earth observation information and services. And last year, the Canberra Declaration was endorsed by Minister of GEO members in November 2019. And this declaration set a high-level direction of GEO members' country between now and the next ministerial summit. And I extracted some points from the declaration, and you can see on the screen how the use of Earth observation is important also for all the GEO community. So you can see here, so recognize the success the GEO community has had in driving progress in the policy area, where we highlighted including expanding the use of Earth observation to address the SDG, the disaster risk reduction and climate change. Here also another point where also the use of Earth observation can deliver a substantial return on investment. And I put also on next. So we're welcome GEO's ongoing work to demonstrate new opportunities to use Earth observation in key sector. So set 7 out of 25 points of the Canberra Declaration, the use of Earth observation is mentioned, and this really show this paradigm shift from data-driven approach to a user-driven approach. If we look at Nuno mentioned the topic where NextGEOSS has been funded, so the European Data Hub of the GEOS information system. I extracted also part of the call text, and we can also see that the reference to the user and user are very important. So the specific challenge of this topic was we see that the GCI facilitates access to and use of EO by the global geo community. The scope of the topic was we were looking for a European hub to provide user with a unique access point. This platform for European user willing to discover, access, combine, and process multiple EO data. And also special attention shall be given to user friendliness for multiple user profile. And its core concept of data federation and user customization. And we were also asking as an impact of this topic to improve user-friendly discovery of data. So by those two example, you can see that nowadays the challenge of the EO community is linked to user. There is a need on the user side to access the information, but they are not always aware about the EO capacity, or they don't know how to access the data, how to get the information out of the data, how to handle the mass of data. So behind the word user, there are different reality, different needs, and different knowledge. And users are really all over the EU value chain. And I think in NextGEOSS project, you see it very well that you have also different type of user. And the challenge is how to bridge this gap, how to bring the data, the information, the knowledge to the user. So I will present you through different projects funded by Horizon 2020, the Societal Challenge 5, how each project involves different users, how data or information they produce, the project use, were used. So the first project I would like to to present you is Atlantis. Atlantis was one of the biggest Horizon 2020 project. In terms of budget, the budget was more than 20 million euro, and also partners. Atlantis brings together 62 partners from Europe, but also from Canada, from the US, from Brazil, and South Africa. And the project, the objective of the project was to shape a joint integrating ocean observatory system in the Atlantic. So it was a flagship project in the implementation of the Galway statement for focusing on North Atlantic, but it played also a role in extending to the South Atlantic, so what is called the Belém statement. So you can see the quote from Martin Wiesbeck, the coordinator of Atlantis. So their vision, our vision with this project was to improve Atlantic observing. So Atlantic has really great results. I invite you also to consult their webpage for more information about that achievement. But only the fact that the project brings together 62 stakeholders to build an integrating ocean observing system was a big achievement. And one of the achievements also of the Atlantis project was here about the harmful algae bloom bulletins. So aquaculture is important for marine food sources, which has a positive impact on the local economy and of rural community. But the challenge of this sector is the occurrence of harmful algae blooms. And based on information from in situ ocean observing and satellite data, and also models of marine hydrodynamics, the Atlantis project assess the harmful algae blooms evolution in the EU Atlantic South Sea. So this information was disseminated to a wider audience via a bulletin that you can see on the slides. The second project that I would like you to present is called Eco-Potential. It was also a huge project with a budget of 50 million euro, a duration of 4 years and 49 partners. And the project was coordinated by Antonello Provenzale from CNR in Italy. And Eco-Potential focus on protected area in Europe and even beyond, including mountains, arid and semi-arid, coastal and marine ecosystem. Thanks to Earth observation data, the change in ecosystem function, the pressure they face can be monitored. So this is what Eco-Potential achieve. It deliver products to understand and also to monitor change in the ecosystem and to support the effective management of this protected area. So one of the protected area they have worked with is the high mountain region of Sierra Nevada in the south of Spain. It's one of the biodiversity hotspots of the Mediterranean region, but it's also a source of agriculture, freshwater, timbers. It helps to capture carbon and also prevent flooding. It offers recreational and educational opportunity. And through workshop with scientists, technicians, and conservation manager, they identify which monitoring tool they needed for the region. And they stimulate some scenario to assess the impact of the current management decision. So you can see on the slide a quote from Blanca Ramos from the Sierra Nevada National Park, where really the work of Eco-Potential help to engage the general public with more accurate information, leading to protected area that people really want to visit. The third project, GeoCradle, it's much smaller project. It's what is called a CSA, so it's a coordination and support action. The budget is 3 million and 25 partners, but the results were also amazing. So GeoCradle project helped the North African, Middle East and Balkan region, what we call NAMEBA, to optimize the use of Earth observation data to benefit citizens and businesses. And the project began by conducting an inventory of available EO capacity in this NAMEBA region to better understand the monitoring, the modeling, and the computing capacity of the region. And they created a networking platform, and you can see the web page on the screen. Then the project GeoCradle, they organize a regional workshop to showcase EO potential to new end user. And those events were also an opportunity for participants to establish new collaboration. They appointed regional coordinator to organize those workshops. And one example of a successful pilot initiative is in Egypt. It's called the Solar Atlas. It was created to help to identify the best location for photovoltaic park and solar plants. And thanks to the project, 29 new solar farms were constructed. And the impact of the Solar Atlas has been referenced at the Egyptian ministerial level a few times, including by the Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy. And you can see his quote. So, meet the mandate of the investor and fund provider, resulting in better scheme of energy production and hence in customer satisfaction. The four next projects I would like to present to you are the so-called Citizen Observatory project. So what is a Citizen Observatory project? Citizen Observatory are community-based environmental monitoring and information system. They build on innovative and novel Earth observation mobile application. And all those projects result from a call, Societal Challenge 517 in 2015, demonstrating the concept of citizen observatory. They were innovation action, so it means they contain less research, but they were closer to the operationalization. And we wanted at the Commission to see what could be done with the huge amount of data collected by citizens. Most of the project, the duration of those projects were also between 3 and 4 years, and the budget around 5 million euro. So the first project, Ground Truth project, focus on the impact of climate change on the local environment. The project wanted to demonstrate how a bottom-up citizen-focused approach can contribute to environmental monitoring, but also to better decision-making. And thanks to the new technology, citizens are able to generate and share data, but also knowledge about the issue impacting them. And Ground Truth has set up 6 citizen observatories in Europe, but also in Africa, with the aim of paving the way for citizen-inspired decision-making. They really co-designed the 6 observatories with the stakeholders in different case studies, resulting in different teams. In the Netherlands, they study flooding. In Spain, the observation of seasonal change in plants and animals, and in Sweden, the water quality management. But the 2 pilots were also set up in Africa. In Kenya, the pilot aimed to balance the conservation of biodiversity with sustainable livelihood. And in Zambia, the pilot support existing initiatives on a community-based approach to management of natural resources. So the case study I would like you to present took place in Mechelen, a city in Belgium. And the broad topic of this case study was environmental quality of life in the city. And after meeting with different stakeholders, so they meet with the city councillor for environment, the city administration, the Flemish administration for environment, and the local environment advisory board. This board consists of local citizens advising the city on environmental issue. And together they decide to focus this pilot on air quality and sound as a primary topic. And you can see a quote from Johan van Braben, one of those citizens who participate in this pilot called Meet Me Mechelen. So, yeah, as he said, a neighbor asked me to join and ride a bike while measuring the air quality. I thought it was a good idea, which could be useful to know about the air pollution in our city. I decided to attend a presentation of the project carbon sensing device paired with a GPS, and the next thing you know, we started cycling in turns twice a day for 2 weeks during each session. So they measure air quality, and once the data was collected, they process it and created a maps. And in the next slide, no, okay, yeah, here on the slide you can see one of the maps created by the project, and these maps were available on the website. This gave an indication of the pollution, and then the project showed also a relation with the traffic density. And by coincidence, this was confirmed by another project measuring also another pollutant in the city at the same time. So this observatory was a good opportunity to discuss between the different stakeholders in its increased media and public interest in air quality, and also it made air quality a priority during a local election. The next project is the GROW project, which also lasted 3 years with 20 partners and was coordinated by Dundee University. Their focus was on soil observation, so small farmers and scientists unite in soil observation amid concern over climate change. And GROW Observatory was mainly interested in soil humidity. So they encourage users to install small cheap sensor in their garden. You can see the sensor on the top of the picture. The sensor measure humidity, and also they demonstrated that this sensor can be used to validate satellite data. But in addition to soil humidity, they help small farmers also to understand the soil they cultivate. Small farmers reduce the use of water for irrigation. They find out also when the soil reaches its full potential, and they could correlate yield and plant health with soil moisture data. One example, Michael Moss, farmer in one of the Canary Islands, he tested the system and could reduce the water use for watering. You can see his quote on the slide. So I knew that I can contribute to change the agricultural system, and the GROW project was a perfect solution for that. For this project, one of the original way they used to engage user was through online training called MOOC on food production methods that preserve and regenerate soil. Another type of GROW project user was artists. So artists Kasia Molda and Robin Rimbaud created an artistic representation of soil moisture, temperature, and light data from the GROW sensor close to the audience personal computer based on the IP address. This network artwork was triggered by Sentinel-1A orbit, encouraging reflection on Earth observation instrumentation. And the artists created works of art to help to reflect on the importance of invisible systems in our lives, such as soil ecosystem, but also remote sensing satellites. Landsense project is the largest and the longest project out of those, 52 months in total and 80 beneficiaries, and it's coordinated by EASA in Austria. It is building an innovative citizen observatory in the field of land use, land cover. They use data collected by citizens, but also data from authoritative and open access source, and they integrate them to provide information, valuable information. The project worked on 3 themes: urban landscape dynamics, agricultural land use, and forest and habitat monitoring. And I will talk you about the last one. So one of the application developed by Landsense report threat to bird habitat. This application is called Natura Alert, and it aims to view the status of some of the most vulnerable areas for birds in the world. And for this pilot, Landsense has collaborated with BirdLife International, and they use this application in Indonesia to monitor monitor forest change. And the data serve to validate the alert resulting from the satellite images. So as it is mentioned in the slide, here this information is valuable for uncovering threats to forest ecosystem in an automated way. The last CO project is the SENT project, and the focus there was on flood monitoring. So the project has developed different collaborative technology that helps citizens actively engage in environmental monitoring. They like to say that they enable citizens to become the eyes of the policymaker by monitoring land cover, land use change. The SEN toolbox and the citizen observatory approach were assessed in two pilot, one in the Danube Delta in Romania and another one in the river basin of Kifizos in Attica next to Athens. And you can see on the picture the river basin of Kifizos in Attica. And thanks to the different campaign with citizens, they collected different types of data and they improved the accuracy of existing flood map risk. And you can see a quote from the head of the Directorate General of Development Planning, Public Work and Infrastructure. eShape, last but not least, the eShape project. I think eShape is maybe a node from the community. It's a flagship project, 55 partners running for 4 years, and now it's in its second year. So eShape contributes significantly to establish the EuroGEO initiative. The EuroGEO initiative is the European contribution to GEO. And the main challenge for EuroGEO is naturally the same than the main challenge for GEO. So to move from a data-centric approach to a user-driven one. I won't be too long on the eShape project. I saw that the project will be represented over the next day. So eShape promote the development and uptake of 27 cloud-based pilot application under 7 thematic area. They address SDG, the Paris Agreement, and the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction. The pilot built on existing European EO data hub and process platform and are developed through co-design with user. The eShape project provides support on co-design with user and using European platform and other assets, of which NextGEOSS is one. And via the help desk, the project support the community the community on question from them. Today they have 27 pilots, but during the General Assembly on 19 to 21 October, they will announce more pilots, which will be onboarded this year. So if you want to attend their General Assembly, please do so. And the last well-known project I added this morning, because between us, Bente wrote me an email this morning and say, you have forgot NextGEOSS. I have not forgot it, but as all the summit will be about NextGEOSS, I wanted the user to speak by themselves. But yeah, NextGEOSS toward the European Earth Observation Data Hub and platform. So all over the summit, you will be showcased about the different use of the NextGEOSS achievement. And you can see a quote for Nuno. NextGEOSS is accelerating the development of next generation of EO services for environmental monitoring. And I'm looking forward to see the different examples during those days. So you can find, in fact, all those stories in a EC publication available on the intranet. I think Bente will share on the chat the address. It's called a Cordis Result Pack on Environmental Observation. I really invite you to read it and to be inspired by all those theories. One important point to mention is the contribution of all those projects to the EuroGEO initiative. And if you are interested to know about the future of the European research program called Horizon Europe, Marianne van Merlo from GGRTD will present you the future in her talk on Friday. Okay, thank you for your attention. I see 30 minutes, so